So I was a little sad reading this chapter now that Skypiea has come to a close. A long journey, but definitely a great fulfilling one, brothers and sisters. One Piece, chapter 302, Finale. Finale?
What an awesome way to just wrap things up, man, I tell you. Oh, well, hello, my brothers and sisters of the Nerd Nation. I, as always, am Jim, here to bring you another review on the awesome, action-packed, adventure-filled tale of One Piece. Our last chapter, of course, saw us really with things ending off with Luffy and the gang, heading out very quickly, exiting stage left from Skypiea, thinking that the gold that they had taken was, was going to be missed, or that there was going to be some anger amongst the Skypians or the Shandians because of it. And in reality, they were actually trying to bring them as a thanks for everything they did for their land and their country. They were trying to bring them the actual broken pillar, a huge giant pillar that's made of solid gold of the Golden Bell. But nonetheless, though, that's how the chapter left off, and that's where this chapter picks up. And actually, there's not a ton of content, but, we'll go over it real quick, and then I'm just going to kind of give some thoughts as well. The first thought that I want to say here, and I know that there's many big adventures to come, but Skypiea is the reason that I started reading this, okay? Skypiea, to me, it's kind of like the promise that was fulfilled when I first, talked with EOP 8 months ago, and he told me about this great story and everything else. Everything leading up to it has been very cool, but a lot of it has been rooted in real life type of things. It hasn't been as fantastic and just as adventure-filled as Skypiea was. Skypiea was great because many things defied the laws of physics and nature and gravity and everything else, but it didn't matter because it's a fictional work and you have to just suspend disbelief for that. But at the same time, too, this fictional work, you start to feel like you're a part of it. You start to feel the enjoyment of knowing the characters, and you start to feel like and dream about, I'd like to go there, I mean, I've actually had dreams during this last couple of months about Skypiea and actually being in a place like that. So, absolutely wonderful and fantastic, and really shame on you to any of those of you that just kind of passed it over, that really didn't give it a chance. And again, I think a lot of it's that spoiled nature that everybody has, that give me now, that, hey, I heard this was a great thing to read, or watch, or whatever, and there's 600 or 700 chapters or whatever. I've got to read them all and catch up as quickly as possible so I can look like everybody else and pretend like I'm knowledgeable and like I've been doing this for 10 years. Whereas me, I don't care. I don't care that people know that I'm new to this and that each chapter I read is a new chapter to me. I don't care that people know that I haven't read ahead and I haven't been spoiled and everything else. I'm just enjoying it. I'm just truly enjoying it. And like I said, I really feel sorry for the ones that just raced to catch up so quickly, and then you caught up, and now you're pissed off because you got to wait 7 days for each chapter to come out, and each chapter doesn't fulfill your dream and fantasy of what you want that one to be like. But really, man, there is just so much great, solid material in these back chapters that why worry about it? I'm in no hurry to catch up. Trust me. Don't care. Doesn't bother me. So, and obviously, I appreciate all of you that comment and that watch the videos that I do. But realistically, I'd still be doing this even if there wasn't, So it's truly a fun experience. Now, this chapter really was the end of Skypiea. It was the wrap-up chapter. We see at the beginning, we see the Shandians as well as the Skypians just kind of all together, and they're all sort of like, what the hell? Everybody took off, and Isa's the only one that really got to say goodbye to him. And it's funny too because there's this part where Locky is going to trim Isa's hair a little bit and talking about how she should grow it out and everything else. And a couple people blasted me for beginning of Skypiea when Ice, I said, I referred to her as a boy and everything else. Well, this is what I got to say to you for that, because in this chapter, Locky's talking to her about how she doesn't need to look like a tomboy, and she's a girl, and she actually needs to start looking and acting like one. So with her short hair and her little hat on that she had and everything else, you could mistake her being 10 years old, and you couldn't tell that she had breasts or anything like that. You could, or 8 years old, whatever she is. You could mistake her for a girl or a boy. So I thought that was a great little, side note that helped me feel a little bit better about it, because I think somebody actually told me I better get new glasses or I better look harder when I'm reading the chapters. The fuck. Anyway, You know, but like I said, long past now, but it just made me feel a lot better and made me smile seeing that. So we get the Shandians and the Skypians. They're talking amongst themselves. Obviously, everybody's a little bit upset that they didn't get to properly say goodbye and kind of show them their appreciation for the Blue Sea people and everything else. You know, and then they kind of get this whole alluding to, like, are they ever going to be back? I don't know. And honestly, I think Skypiea will play a role somewhere down the road in this great, magnificent tale. And just because it hasn't yet doesn't mean that it won't, but I believe that it will. That's just my feeling, though. May change a couple hundred chapters from now. I don't know. But nonetheless, though, what we wind up seeing is that the Shandians and the Skypians are not going to fight anymore. Everybody, including the chief of the Shandians, is basically telling Ganfal, listen, we need you to be the god again, the kami. I don't care if you want to be the governor, you want to be the leader, you want to be boss, whatever. The thing is that through and through everything, you always had everybody's best interests at heart. You really tried to stop the war. You really tried to always fight for peace for both sides. And that's a commendable thing, you know. And he kind of reluctantly goes and he gives in and he's like, damn it, I wanted to retire and just, you know, tend to my pumpkins. But so he takes up the role of leader, of god, whatever, because they're all going to live together now and there. And we also go and we see Wiper as well. And Wiper goes and he's kind of talking to the statue of Kalgara, and excuse me, the name escaped me for a second there. He's talking to the statue of Kalgara and basically just, you know, saying out loud about how he's going to protect the light of Shandora. He's going to make sure that it always is safe and that they can always ring that bell every day, which I thought was really cool. So that was really the meat and potatoes of the chapter. The rest of it was, you know, down in the White Sea, Luffy and company getting to Cloud's End, Pagaya and Conis and Sue, the little fox, got them there. And then they're going to go and they're going to leave. And they're all kind of, you know, oh, why we wish we just got here. Why do we got to leave? And I kind of felt that way, too. Even though the action part was over, I felt like, hey, you guys just should have chilled and taken in the scenery a little more, you know? But I know there's many that are like, Skypiea's too long to begin with. But nonetheless, it was fine for me. Never really seemed bothersome or like it was dragging. But so they're going to leave. They're going to leave on Cloud's End, and that's the way back down to the Blue Sea. And then as they're about to go over, you get like Conis and just like, well, watch out for the drop or something, you know, a hold on type of thing, you know. So they bring all the gold inside. And they were also talking about what they're going to spend the gold, you know, what they're going to spend the money on. Luffy wants a giant bronze statue, and Zoro wants more booze, and Sanji wants a refrigerator with a lock, and, you know, Chopper wants books for medicine. And anyway, and Nami's like, she's in charge of everything. She's like, listen, we'll figure it out and divvy everything up when we get back down there, but just chill right now. We're not going to buy a bunch of this shit. So as they go over Cloud's End or whatever, they're like, watch out for the drop. And this thing is literally like a straight drop, and they're dropping, and they're all freaking out and think they're going to die. They're 5 miles up, right? And then all of a sudden, Conis goes and blows some kind of whistle, it looks like flute or whatever, for this something octopus. And if you remember earlier, with the first chapter, when they got up to the, you know, took the knock-up stream up, there was that huge octopus that appeared, and Zoro went and jumped and slashed it, and the thing exploded because it was like a balloon. We see another one of those, and sure as shit, it is a balloon! And it's cool, it uses its tentacles. First they think it's attacking them, but it uses its tentacles to gently grasp, you know, the Going Merry. And then, of course, its body is like a balloon in light, and it slows their descent. So, ultimately, that is how the chapter ends, and it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun, and it was kind of one of those things where you feel like, I think because it was such a big, rich adventure, you know, that obviously I've been on for the last couple of months, and certainly with me being sick, got delayed, you know, finishing up for a few days. It's just so much fun, so neat to see, and really, I enjoyed it, you know, and again, I want to do a live stream and get some other people's thoughts and everything else on this. I was even going to invite a couple other YouTubers and stuff like that to see if maybe they wanted to chat about Skypiea. I think it was great. It's my favorite arc so far. And I know some people have said in comments and even sent me messages, well, yeah, but you seemed like this and you seemed like that. This arc brought out so many emotions in me that, yeah, there was many times that I did seem irritated or pissed off. Was I mad at Wiper sometimes? You're goddamn right I was. But if you can go and bring me into a fictional story that much to where, even though I know in my head, in my mind, in my brain, I can think, well, this is not real, but you get me to feel something for that, and you really get me to be angry or sad or happy or whatever the feeling is that comes out, to me, that's a mark of a good story right there, you know? And that's what this did. This made me feel a lot of different things, you know? This got me to the point where I actually went and I was belittling the Shandians and their beliefs because I was so angry at the lack of communication between Kalgara and Noland that I went and I did something that I would never do, and I went and I made fun of somebody else's beliefs or background or ethnicity or whatever it wound up being, you know? So, to me, it's great. I love the tale, and I'm excited too because, you know, obviously I see a lot of things in the comments as well and messages that I get and everything else of like, oh yeah, man, this is nothing. Just wait. This is where it really gets good now, you know? So Water 7, I think, is the next major arc that has been brought up. So I'm certainly looking forward to that. And one thing that you are never going to have to worry about with me is sugarcoating things or pulling punches on stuff. I may not be the best reviewer. I certainly would hope that I'm not the worst reviewer. I try to bring some real life and real world experiences in, and I try to certainly, you know, be entertaining and comical when I can. But the bottom line is that because I don't go and read a bunch of chapters and have like a predetermined written out script that will make the most amount of people happy and that'll get me the most views and likes, since I don't care about any of that stuff, I turn the camera on and I do very little editing afterwards, unless it was something that, you know, upon watching again, I was like, well, I just repeated that 7 times. I can cut out the 4 or 5 repeats of it. But for the most part, it's very much that raw emotion that you get. So certainly thank all of you for joining me on this journey. And of course, we will look forward to diving into the next arc, the next, you know, I know it's a shorter arc, whatever he's been telling me. And then, of course, Water 7, I believe, is after that. So my chapter question for you is, though, I guess just what were your overall thoughts now on Skypiea itself? Just, you know, I mean, if you want to go and tell me maybe favorite character, maybe favorite moment, favorite battle, favorite line, something along those lines. Put that in the comments down below. Feel free to hit the thumbs up, the like button if you should think that I deserve it, and subscribe if you haven't done so already. We will look forward to catching all of you in the next one, nation.
Well, Skypiea has finally come to a close. Remember to follow me over on Facebook and Twitter and even my other channel.